People of the world, hello and welcome back. I had a fantastic conversation with the fine folks at Sender Rising today, and we were talking about the title for this particular show. And marketing as a foreign language appeared, as if by magic, to be the best option. I like it. You can think of me as your teacher. Am I going to be here every day? Yeah, that's the hope. Monday through Friday, we're going to try to do this on the daily. We're going to be back. If you have any questions, just go to the chat box and feel free to throw those in there. In fact, I'm going to type something right now. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh. Technology. Am I right? Am I right? Did you know that today, of all days, this glorious Thursday, May the 14th, 2020, Apple and Google launch first phase of COVID-19 contact tracing. Will Americans use it? Rebecca Bellin, contributor at Forbes. Let's dive right in. Yesterday, Apple and Google launched the first phase of their joint effort to help track the spread of COVID-19. The two tech companies have begun testing an initial version of their exposure notification API that should help public health authorities contain the spread of coronavirus by quickly identifying people who might have been exposed to new cases. It will be widely available to most public health agencies by mid-May. We're on to a whole new paradigm of human experience, people. Think about it. Think about it. It is possible. It is, in fact, likely that this tragedy breeding invention will make it possible that the common cold could be tracked. Think of all of the incredible things that could be happening in the future when we take a look at tracking illness via the internet, via apps, via artificial intelligence. This, to me, is a big deal. For this effort to work, people using Apple and Android phones will need to download the apps, and report whether or not they have been diagnosed with coronavirus. Okay, fine. So we're not getting Star Trek health scan, magical device curing diseases. I get it, but we got to start somewhere. Self-reporting is better than no reporting. In a country where people are protesting lockdowns and social distancing, and where big tech hasn't exactly gained the public's trust, how likely are Americans to use these apps? Get 'em, Forbes. A new survey conducted by the Washington Post and the University of Maryland found that a majority Americans, that seems like a typo, found that a majority of Americans aren't planning on using the apps, with nearly 3 in 5 Americans are either unwilling or unable to use the infection alert system that Google and Apple have developed. Okay, fine. But here we are, we're talking about it. I think that it's good news. For the apps to be most effective, they require a large portion of the population to contribute. A recent study by epidemiologists at Oxford University estimated that the ideal number would be 60% of the population. Okay, are we going to get 60%? I don't think so. I really don't. The fact that I'm talking about it now means that millions more will definitely sign up. That's a fact. But is this the start of something new? Is this a trend in global culture whereby we track diseases? This ultimately, like many problems, is an advertising problem. Advertising coming from the Latin advertere, meaning to turn toward. The more people that turn toward this solution, using this solution, well, what is going to happen? I think great things. If Americans are already rather adverse to the idea of using the contact tracing tech, then it'll be difficult to persuade them that this initiative will help find potential new infections. You know what? I think that at the end of the day, here you go. Under half of polled Americans said that they would definitely or probably use the apps. However, and that's no small number, just under half, excuse me. Additionally, 59% said that they would feel comfortable using the app to anonymously inform people they came physically close to if they were to be diagnosed with coronavirus. I'm interested in the app, to be honest. Let's roll back. Apple and Google launch first phase of COVID-19 contact tracing. What is the app? It says it will be widely available to most public health agencies by mid-May. It is mid-May. This article was written in April. So pretty good timing. Is it available is the question on everyone's mind. Google, Apple and Google. Apple and Google COVID tracking app. Let's see if we have any updates on whether or not it is going to be available. All right. That's April 10th. Contract tracing app hit some states against tech giants one day ago. Forbes, Apple, and Google surprise update as in April 24th. Our article is coming in on April 30th. So if I had to guess, I would say it's not available, but it is worth looking into, worth putting on the radar. According to the survey, Democrats and people who reported they are worried about becoming seriously ill from COVID-19 are more willing to use the apps. This is obvious. I feel as though the rest of this article is going to be obvious as well. Farewell, article. We move right along. LinkedIn now factors dwell time into its algorithm. Let's chat a little bit about dwell time. It is, without a doubt, crucially important that the amount of time people spend on your website be high. We want low bounce rates. We want folks who go to the website not to leave immediately. This is obvious information. What perhaps is not obvious is that the amount of time that folks spend on a site is clearly being taken into account by Google's RankBrain artificial intelligence algorithm. It's measuring this. It's clear from the Google Analytics data that this is a factor. Now, how do we increase the amount of time? Well, as you can see, we're on minute, 7 of this particular live stream. Finding ways to engage with your audience for long periods of time. Honestly, in 2020, what is that? It's video. It's streaming. What else could it be? A very long article? You going to spend 7 minutes on an article? I mean, that's got to be one heck of an article. Am I right? Am I right, chat? LinkedIn now factors dwell time into its algorithm. Dwell time will now be taken into consideration when content is ranked in the LinkedIn feed. Matt Southern, 1 hour ago. This is hot off the press. LinkedIn is updating the algorithm used to rank content in its feed by factoring in the amount of time users spend with each post. In a blog article, LinkedIn pulls back the curtain on its algorithm and offers a detailed overview of how content is ranked. Well, you may be asking yourself how LinkedIn ranks content. Don't worry, chat. Here we go. When a user logs into LinkedIn, there are tens of thousands of, candidate posts that could show up in their feed. Those posts go through a first pass candidate generation layer. This is why we want to call the show Marketing as a Foreign Language, because first pass candidate generation layer is not English. That is some alien weird language that an engineer created. I'm going to read this over. When a user logs into LinkedIn, there are tens of thousands of candidate posts that could show up in their feed. Makes sense. They're running for office. They're running for the office of being on your screen. Those posts go through this first pass candidate generation layer. Say it with me, chat. First pass candidate generation layer. Funny story, that's a little band. First pass candidate generation layer. At this stage, LinkedIn applies a lightweight ranking algorithm to identify the top candidates. Get it? Understood. LinkedIn then determines how to rank the top candidates in individual users' feed based on a number of factors. We're just talking about a search engine here, people. Viral actions. These three forms of engagement are referred to as viral actions: reacts, comments, and shares. Obviously, viral actions can have downstream and or upstream network effects. What does that mean? Resharing a post, for example, will create a downstream effect. That means connections of the user who reshared the post will also end up seeing it. I reshare a post, my peoples, they's gonna see it. Commenting on a post, on the other hand, will create an upstream effect. That means it will be boosted higher in the feeds of users who are connected to the post's author. Downstream, I share something, my people see it. Upstream, boosted higher in the feeds of users who are connected to me. Okay, if I have 3,000 users, someone comments on the post, it makes it more likely that my people will see it. For each candidate post, LinkedIn's algorithm considers the likelihood of user engagement and the potential upstream and downstream effects. Well, we got some vocab, people. Daily vocab. Downstream, I share it. And obviously, connections of the users who reshared the post will also end up seeing it. Right, the connections of the people who reshared the post. Upstream, it will be boosted higher in the feeds of users who are connected to the post's author. Holy smokes. That's like chess. Why dwell time matters. There are shortcomings to an algorithm that relies on predicting click and viral related quantities. There are shortcomings to an algorithm that relies on predicting click and viral related quantities. Okay. For example, click and viral actions can be rare, especially for passive consumers of the feed. Another limitation is the binary nature of clicks and viral actions, meaning they're either carried out or they're not. Right. People either comment or they don't. LinkedIn's algorithm measures whether an action was carried out, but not how long a user spent with a piece of content after taking action. Well, that, I do feel, finally, is making a bit of sense. The algorithm measures that you commented. It may not measure how long they spent with a piece of content after taking the action. They may have clicked on a post and immediately returned back to the main feed. Okay, so this would incentivize clickbait. This would incentivize, very, what's the word to describe it? Salacious content. All right, which obviously is not the point of the next evolution of the internet. The point is clearly to have a better, higher quality internet. To make up for these shortcomings, LinkedIn began considering dwell time. And we are to the thesis, saying it offers the following advantages over solely looking at clicks and viral actions. Click, viral, action. Not always measurable. Always measurable. I see. So we're looking at click actions versus dwell time. Dwell time is always measurable. Click actions are not necessarily so. Click actions have a binary indicator of engagement, whereas dwell time has a real valued measure. I get it. They did it or they didn't. That's what he means by binary, and real valued measure is 12 seconds, 6 seconds, 15 seconds. Click actions, noisy indicator of engagement, whereas dwell time can be a more reliable indicator of engagement. Click actions, positive signals are rather sparse, whereas dwell time, no shortage of signals. What is dwell time? This is how LinkedIn explains dwell time. At a high level, each update viewed on the feed generates two types of dwell time. First, there is dwell time on the feed. Fascinating. Which starts measuring when at least half of a feed update is visible as a member scrolls through their feed. I love that. I have spent so much time on feeds of various people, and to have that measured is quite wise. I like that. Second, there's dwell time after the click. So you've got BC before the click and AC after the click, which is the time spent on the content after clicking on an update in the feed. Makes sense to me. Oh my goodness. LinkedIn's engineers determined through a series of tests that dwell time is a reliable indicator of whether a user is likely to engage with the post or not. Well, that makes perfect sense to me. Sip and drip. Dwell time in LinkedIn's algorithm. LinkedIn users tend to spend more time viewing the updates they decide to take a viral action on. Knowing that, LinkedIn has built dwell time into its feed algorithm to increase the likelihood of users seeing posts they'll engage with. Okay, at the end of the day, we are still talking about the same thing, and that is quality content. It does make me think that the thumbnail, the images that you're using to attract folks via your feed are that much more important. Because if people are scrolling and they see 3, 5, 7 different articles that you've written and the titles of them are all good, the images are captivating, then that dwell time, that very time they spent dwelling, if you will, is part of the algorithm. It has a positive net benefit to you. For marketers, that means you have to craft LinkedIn posts that not only capture people's attention, but hold it for an extended period of time. Back to advertere, back to advertising. Not only do I need you to turn towards me, I need you to do it for quite a while. It literally begins to rework the neurons, the neural pathways in the mind. It changes a person, the amount of time they spend listening to someone or looking at something. LinkedIn is not the first social network to factor dwell time into its algorithm. Facebook does so as well. So it's not only LinkedIn, it's Facebook. It's gonna be everybody. It's all about that dwell time, people. It's all about that time on site. It's all about the fact that you can't buy more time on planet Earth, can you? Yes, sure can't. So does it have a value? It clearly does. Do we engage with the universe at large in a way that has people coming back for more? We're talking about attraction. We're talking about giving people what they want consistently over time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, requires a certain degree of gusto. Going forward, the most successful posts will not always be the ones that get the most likes, comments, and shares. Those signals won't mean as much if people aren't also spending time consuming the content they engage with. Ooh, saucy, delicious, nutritious. You kidding me? Going forward, the most successful posts will not always be the ones that get the most likes, comments, and shares. Those signals won't mean as much if people aren't spending time consuming the content they engage with. I'll cheers to that. Chai tea. Am I right? Okay. Thank you, Matt Southern. We appreciate your stunning intellect. Moving right along, BERT. We're going back in time just a bit. We're going back to 2019 to get you an update on the birdage. Roger Monti, coming to us from Search Engine Journal, a fantastic establishment, mute. And we're back. Google BERT update, what it means. Got 96,000 reads on this particular article. Looks to be a good one. Google announced what they called the most important update in 5 years, the BERT update. That's B-E-R-T, BERT. It's my middle name as well. Update impacts 10% of search queries. That's Kellen Bert Kautzman, if you're wondering. What is BERT and how will it impact SEO? BERT is a major Google update. According to Google, this update will affect complicated search queries that depend on context. It's all about context. A joke is funny based on context. Whether or not people think you are, a nice person is based on context. It would only follow that the machines are going to start determining whether or not information is good based on you got it. This is what Google said. These improvements are oriented around improving language understanding, particularly for more natural language conversational queries. Excuse me. As BERT is able to help search better, understand the nuance of and the context of words in searches, and better match those queries with helpful results, particularly for longer, more conversational queries or searches where prepositions like for and to matter a lot to the meaning. Search will be able to understand the context of the words in your query. You can search in a way that feels natural for you. This reminds me of something we covered in the last episode, which is the Loebner Prize, which I clearly know how to spell. The Loebner Prize is an event where chatbots attempt to win. How does one describe this? They attempt to pass the Turing Test, which is to say that you don't realize you're talking to a robot. The Loebner Prize is an annual competition in artificial intelligence that awards prizes to the computer programs considered by the judges to be the most human-like. So BERT is one step closer to Loebner Prize-esque understanding. What is the BERT algorithm? Search algorithm patent expert Bill Slawski. Everybody knows Bill. Shout out to Bill. Everyone loves some Bill Slawski. The Sloss, as he is known in his fraternity house. BERT is a natural language processing pre-training approach that can be used on a large body of text. It handles tasks such as entity recognition, part of speech tagging, and question answering, among other natural language processes. BERT helps Google understand natural language text from the web. Google has opened this technology, and others have created variations of BERT. Got it. Search algorithm patent expert Bill Slawski. Natural language processing. Okay, I think we're clear on that. Let's move along. BERT and on-page SEO. I asked search engine expert Dawn Anderson what that meant for SEOs, and she responded that it won't help websites that are poorly written. Okay, don't you love how it always comes back to the obvious? All the time? Every time? It won't help poorly written websites. Yeah, turns out that what worked 5 years ago and 10 years ago and 15 years ago and 2,000 years ago is high quality content. BERT and family improve the state of the art on 11 natural language processing tasks. even beating human understanding, since linguists will argue for hours over the part of speech a single word is. But what if the focus of a page is very weak? Even humans sometimes will be like, what's your point? When we hear something. Cheers to that. Yeah, okay, understood. And pronouns have been very problematic historically, but BERT helps with this quite a bit. Pronouns are problematic. Context is improved because of the bidirectional nature of BERT. There will still be lots of work for us to do, since we need to emphasize importance, utilize clear structures, help to turn unstructured data into semi-structured data, blah, blah, blah. Google's BERT update improves how Google understands search queries. Okay, it's knocking human understanding out of the water in loads of natural language. I'm over it. I am over it. Here we go. In New England, the word cow in the context of fishing means a large striped bass. I know that. You know that. Everybody knows that. In New England, the word cow means a large striped bass. That's common knowledge. A striped bass is a popular saltwater game fish. Okay, so earlier this month, during the course of research for a PubCon Vegas presentation, I typed the phrase, "how to catch a cow fishing," and Google provided results related to livestock, to cows. Even though I had purposely used the word fishing to provide context, Google ignored that context and provided results related to the bovine friends. Cows, people. That was on October 1st, 2019. Today, October 25th, 2019. Obviously not the date. The same query results in search are full of striped bass. That's the point, people. Striped bass is the point. That if I say fishing and cow, now Google gets it. That's simple. Kellen Kautzman, send. It might pull up Send It Rising because it gets it. It gets it that is my company. BERT may be just the beginning. Don Anderson said, a researcher I know used BERT in his work with assistants, example, similar to Google Assistant, to test the use of clarifying questions. So it has many uses. It's just a starting point, I asked. So you see this as one step in a longer journey? And Don replied, yes, but it's a huge step. It's a quantum leap. Okay, so we're going there. We're getting to a point where the understanding of search engines is really quite strong. Computers are going to be passing the Turing test. They are passing the Turing test. There was a video that the CEO of Google released where he showed that, it was just a demo, but basically it showed an AI calling in to schedule a hair appointment. It worked just fine. Everyone was happy. The robot passed the Turing test. The problem is that it was one of those sort of how real is this deals, simply because it's a presentation. It's easy to kind of fix what people see. So at the end of the day, we are heading into an environment where it is clear that we are going to see robots confusing us a great deal. We're going to see a lot of people, for lack of a better word, deceived by artificial intelligence. So, what can we do to make money? How can we improve our lives in this particular environment? One of the ways is that we can get a bit better at pay-per-click. So let's dive in to the pay-per-click news of the day. Pay-per-click hero. Ooh, I like the look of that. What I want to do is I want the updates. An intro to custom reporting in Facebook ads. Interesting. Ad copy tips for the COVID era. No, thank you. Discovery campaigns as a part of your remarketing funnel. Okay, let's dive into whatever the heck that means. Mr. Dan Rocklin comes to us. Ooh, at Punk Rocklin. Good stuff. Do you remember what you were doing 1 year ago? It was a simpler time. The Toronto Raptors were in the midst of an NBA championship run. Activists were gearing up to storm Area 51, and a little ditty called Old Town Road was burning up the airwaves. You may also remember May 2019 for Google announcing the availability of discovery campaigns. You know what, Dan Rocklin, I like your intro, which were subsequently rolled out to advertisers throughout the year. If you have not yet experimented with discovery campaigns, you should strongly consider doing so. Okay, Dan. My experience has convinced me that they can be a powerful tool, especially for expanding a remarketing strategy. Remarketing. You go to a website. You leave that website. Everywhere you look, forever, you see the ads. You've seen it. You've been followed by ads. This is remarketing. Discovery campaigns, what are they? If you have not yet discovered, you silly Dan Rocklin, the campaign type, here's what you need to do. Discovery campaigns can show ads on 3 placements: YouTube, Gmail, well, that's interesting, and Google's discovery feed. Google's discovery feed, for the uninitiated, is a feed that shows on the Google app and the Google mobile homepage that shows stories and links based on a user's interest. That bears repeating. Google's discovery feed is a feed that shows on the Google app, okay, and the Google mobile homepage, so it's mobile, that shows stories and links based on a user's interest. Okay. In terms of how the ads appear, they're similar in many respects to Google's responsive display ads. Okay. So squares. They take an input of several images, a logo, and headlines, and combines those for different placements. They can show as a carousel type ad, allowing users to scroll through different images and headline pairings. Here are a few examples. These examples are quite small. Oh, this is where you're losing us, Dan. Oh, Dan, you were doing so good. And then you gave us these incredibly small, pretty much unseeable. All right, folks. They are simply as they were described before. Discovery versus the Google Display Network. In order to test this new campaign type, in one of my accounts, I created a discovery campaign targeting a remarketing list and enabled it to run at the same time as the previously created display remarketing campaign. Okay, so Dan tests this new campaign type, which is discovery, and created a discovery campaign targeting a remarketing list. Okay. He has a remarketing list that he earned through a remarketing campaign, and now he's running discovery campaign targeting at the same time as the previously created display remarketing campaign. Okay. The account in question was a real estate. Ooh. Real estate's tough. I don't know if you all know. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I don't know if you know about real estate, but holy smokes, is that a game that a lot of folks are playing. And if you get good at it, if you can do what Dan's doing or find something that makes sense to get an edge in that world, lots of money to be made. The account in question was a real estate advertiser with the goal of generating leads. Prior to discussing the results of this campaign, I wanted to highlight a few aspects of the experiment. Both campaigns were set to the maximize conversions bid strategy. I would set it to minimize conversions, but turns out I like money, so we're going to go with maximize conversions. The campaigns both ran for 85 days. 85 days because that's the ideal number of days. Any other number of days and it wouldn't have worked. 85 days, best number of days. The campaigns ran with different creative, as the campaign on the Google Display Network utilized professionally designed creative assets, and the discovery campaign running a selection of photographs. So that would lead me to believe that the Google Display Network, which utilized the professionally designed creative assets, would outperform the discovery campaign running a, quote, selection of photographs. The campaigns were run concurrently, but were not set up as a true A/B split test. Experiments are set at the campaign level, so it's not possible to A/B test different campaign types. If you say so, Dan. Consequently, it's possible that some users were exposed to both the campaign on the Google Display Network and on the discovery campaign placements. Okay, fine. It's possible that some people saw both. Even with those limitations, the results were stark enough that they inform my assumptions about the different campaign types moving forward. All right, let's bite into some data. Who's hungry for some data? Campaign name, Google Display Networking. So this is typical remarketing. Impressions. This, I'm glad to be seeing this. So many impressions all the time, always. This is how it goes. You run a display network campaign. It makes you feel like the entire world saw your ad and the phone should be ringing off the hook. The numbers are huge. 330,366 impressions. So let's call it 330,000 impressions on the GDN, the Google Display Network, running a remarketing campaign resulted in 284 clicks. The cost, $657. One conversion. Now, unfortunately, and we hope that he will define this later, but what the heck do you mean by conversion? If it's a phone call, that's an expensive phone call. If it's the sale of a home, well, hooray. I'll spend $600 all day, every day to sell a house. But there's an entire layer of sales here, which is to say, how that person was treated, the 1.5 million things that go into actually talking to somebody. So that conversion number, not sure about it. The Discovery Network, the entire point of this article, impressions, 12,628. So far fewer people saw it. The ad itself, 96.18% less, apparently. Number of clicks, pretty much the same at 298. There were 284 clicks on the Google Display Network run. The cost was cheaper, $528, is approximately 20% cheaper, and twice the conversions at 2. Now, the data obviously is not fantastic because there's just not that much of it. Google Display Network, remarketing, click-through rate, 0.09%, right, because there's 330,000 impressions. Okay. The major difference between the two campaigns can be boiled down to the number of impressions and click-through rate. The display campaign dwarfs, not dwarves, he writes dwarves, the discovery campaign in terms of the number of impressions, generating more than 25 times their number. Note, if you're wondering, as I am, about the relative average frequency between the two campaigns, that metric is not yet available for discovery campaigns. Okay. I think that despite how long this is, the takeaway is if that you are not familiar with discovery campaigns and you are doing any work with Google, what's the word? It's clearly my phone ringing, and I have no idea where it is, for the record. If you are doing any work with Google discovery campaigns, it is important to also check out, Google Display Network campaigns. It is important to also check out discovery campaigns. That makes a lot of sense to me, based on the fact that we have twice as many conversions, at least in this particular example. Let's head on over to Instagram news, see if there's anything new in that particular section of the world. Okay. Will Instagram shut down in 2020? Say what? Facebook and Instagram add more ways to support local businesses. I like that. Currently, there is no official evidence to suggest that Instagram is shutting down in 2020. That's funny. Let's take a look at Facebook and Instagram add more ways to support local businesses 2 days ago. This I am interested in. Also, if someone from chat could find my phone, that would be ideal. Facebook and Instagram add more ways to support local businesses. All right, as we enter into our 40th minute together in this here stream. New features. Oh my gosh, it's Matt Southern again. He is on fire, this Matt Southern character. 266 shares, 2,500 people reading this particular article. Facebook is expanding its efforts to assist local businesses with overcoming the challenges they're facing during the COVID-19 pandemic. As many stores remain closed and social media serves as an online main street, the shift to doing business online is more urgent than ever. Facebook and Instagram are receiving new features that will allow other users to discover and support small businesses in their area. What are those features? Is Zuckerberg just giving people money? Is he sending out checks? Both platforms are also adding tools to help businesses stay informed and connected with their customers. Hashtag support small businesses. Facebook will begin promoting a hashtag support small businesses. Really? Feels like we could do better than hashtag support small businesses, but fine. What does that mean? Does that mean you're going to get me a client? While encouraging users to share a small business they love. Well, chat, if you want to share Send It Rising, hashtag support small businesses, I'll just hold my breath. No. This has the potential to increase exposure for small businesses and get them in front of people who may be discovering them for the first time. I will give a shout out to Tea and Whisk. The Tea and the Whisk. The Tea and the Whisk. Best tea, greatest tea. All other teas are disasters. Here in Las Vegas, amazing tea shop. Loving them. Hashtag support small businesses. You can order from them online, and you should. Support small business sticker. Oh, gee. That's going to solve all of our economic woes. You know, if you are a small business and you are in desperate need of the paycheck protection money, to keep your business afloat, don't worry. Facebook has a sticker that you can use in the interim between receiving life-saving funds. And a new Instagram feature will let users show their appreciation for small businesses in the form of a support small businesses sticker. Wow. Stay home. Thank you hour. That's clapping. Support small business sticker. When a story with this sticker is published, it will be added to a shared Instagram story similar to the stay home sticker introduced last month. If a business is mentioned along with the sticker, then the business can repost the content to their own story as well. Okay, fine. This I can kind of get behind. They're trying to do something. I shouldn't be so critical. Kellen, take a deep breath. Remember your Lamaze breathing. This right here is an attempt. It's an attempt. Hashtag support small businesses. Support small business sticker. Brr. Find businesses nearby. Facebook, here's what's frustrating. Here's what's frustrating. What businesses could really use is, I don't know, $500 of marketing for free. Free, next 6 months. I mean, Instagram, okay. It might help a little bit. It's cool. I get it. It's just, I don't know. Not thrilled. Facebook is introducing a feature that will allow users to more quickly find essential products and services. More specifically, Facebook is working on ways to help people get those products and services from local businesses. Using the new Business Nearby feature, people can find out the latest information on local stores, message them directly, place orders, or buy products. All right. So businesses nearby just feels like Google. I don't understand really the benefit of this. I mean, it feels like a foray into Facebook becoming Google Maps, I guess. Quickly find essential products and services. Help people get those products and services from local businesses. How is that not Google Maps? Using the new Businesses Nearby feature, people can find out the latest information on local stores. Message them directly. Okay. Place orders. Yeah. It's Google Maps. This feature should help improve virtual foot traffic. You don't need to call it foot traffic. If it's just traffic. It's just should help improve visits to business, as Facebook puts it, which is key as businesses move online to stay open. All right. Okay. Business Resource Center. Facebook is rolling out a dedicated resource center for business with the latest information related to COVID-19. The real-time in-app information is curated to help businesses more quickly take steps to move their business forward. This new resource center can be found in the shortcuts on the Facebook app and through businesses' profiles on Instagram. A business resource center. Okay, not impressed. You're losing me, article. You're losing me. Staying connected with customers. Facebook is launching a major upgrade of the business inbox in Messenger, making it easier for businesses to communicate with customers directly. What could be more easy than messaging them? I don't understand. The upgrade will allow page managers to seamlessly switch between their personal account and page account within Messenger. Okay. That's somewhat interesting. It's easier to communicate with clients. Look, at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is communication with your clients. Facebook, I have seen, because I am on way too many Facebook pages. My notification bell thingy is like 99 plus all the time. And that's because all of the clients, get notifications. I get notifications. And when you look at response time, it usually falls through the crack, because if you hire an internet marketing company, is it their responsibility to respond to Facebook messages? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Usually it isn't. And for many small businesses, it's rare that people are actually leaving Facebook Messenger messages. So having someone check on that makes sense to me. There's a way through Google My Business where you can receive messages through text. That's interesting. But at the end of the day, there are just way too many ways that people can get in touch with you. You know what I mean? It's just like, how many different ways do I... And something's got to give. That's my point. So, like, you heard the phone ring earlier. I'm not, I'm streaming, so I'm not going to pick it up. But I'm not sure I would have picked it up anyway. Who's calling anymore? It's 2020. You know what I mean? Like, text, man. 99% of the calls I get are garbage. They are spammers. That's just nothing. If you're not in my phone, there's not a good chance I'm picking up. Email me. Text me, please. So, yeah, Facebook. People can reach out to you via Facebook, Instagram. I feel like every culture, culture's not the word, every generation comes up with new ways of contacting people. And because most of our clients are a bit older business owners, get a lot of phone call-y types, which is fine. It's fine. It's just funny to me because I'm not calling you. Like, I think the last time I called somebody was like 2005. I'm not calling people. And so Facebook Messenger, for business, I feel bad for businesses because how are you supposed to keep up with the 92 different ways that people can reach out to you? It's frustrating. And then all of these tech platforms just keep adding more ways for people to reach you. And it's stupid. Here's why it's stupid. Someone asks a question on your Google My Business profile. Nobody answers it. It sits there unanswered for an undetermined period of time. People can ask and answer questions on Google My Business profiles. They can send you a text via Google My Business because your internet marketer set it up, or I don't know, Nancy in sales set it up 3 years ago. So at the end of the day, I think there's just way too many ways that we are getting hit by information. And I don't know if you've all noticed this or if it's just me, but it's always, what do you call it? Kill this screen. It's always, shoot, what the heck was I talking about? People reaching out to you in a million different ways. Oh yeah, they never want to say hi or say something nice. It's always because they want something from you, pretty much every time. And so if we increase the number of ways that folks can reach out to you, it's just increasing the number of ways that people can ask you to do something for them, which is, I guess that's just human nature. I guess that just is what it is. But I will say this. I was talking to someone I know who's younger. She is graduating high school in the year of the pandemic, which is insane. And I told her, look, you're going to get a degree in something. We ran through the degrees that she could get. And I said, if you develop a website now, if you have a portfolio of sites you've built or marketing projects that you've started now, when it comes to hiring, honestly, if you have a 4-year degree, I really don't care that much. I am far more interested in what you've done. I would love to see a Google Analytics report of a website you've built 1 billion times more than I want to see even a master's degree in marketing. Now, chicken or the egg, what's more important? I've had folks on staff who have had master's degrees specifically in marketing, and they're really high caliber people, but they're high caliber people first, which is why they got the marketing degree. So had they invested time and energy into building websites that generated traffic, sold products, and moved in that direction, I would be more impressed. The more time elapses, the less impressed I am from college degrees. It basically tells me that they are a dedicated person. They're not going to blow deadlines. They're going to turn in their assignments, that sort of stuff. So if you're out there and you're thinking about, what would really help me either get into internet marketing or even entrepreneurship in general, and the bottom line is build a WordPress website and do it now. If you haven't, it's the easiest thing on planet Earth. And then start blogging, start creating content. Radio Guest List is a good website to swing over if you want to get your chops up on the this skill, which is the standing in the black void, speaking to the world skill. Teachers, believe it or not, have a very strong public speaking background. So if you're a teacher and you want to get into internet marketing, now is a good time for you to understand that all of those classroom hours you've put in can return dividends, can give you an edge, you could say. And so, yeah, build a website, get some blogs going. If you already have a WordPress website and you want to, spread your wings, so to speak, pay-per-click is a good path forward. It can be incredibly difficult to try to juggle web development, pay-per-click, and SEO understanding at the same time, but Google's revenue, their primary revenue source, is clearly advertising. I want to now, actually, that I'm thinking about it, how much of Google's revenue comes from advertising. Oh yeah, we're diving in. We're diving in. 70.9%. In 2019, advertising accounted for the majority of Google's total revenue, which amounted to a total of $160.74 billion US dollars in the most recent fiscal period. Advertising revenue through Google sites made up 70.9% of the company's revenues. Well, there you have it. So here you are in a nutshell. The folks that you talk to, if you call Google, are so good at their job, especially when you're talking pay-per-click. Obvious reason for that is, how many billions of dollars is that? 70.9% of their revenue. So you may think that you're not good at pay-per-click, but the reality is that you are one phone call away from someone who's very good at pay-per-click. And if you simply start a pay-per-click campaign by calling them saying, hey, look, I'm ignorant, I need help, walk me through it, they'll walk you through it, and then they'll walk you through the next step and the next step and the next step. And there's no substitute for experience. So if you can pay, like on our staff, our director of pay-per-click is absolutely fantastic. Looking to get him on the show eventually. See if he wants to join the stream. Marketing is a foreign language stream. But point being, you really don't need to know much. And they have to pick up the phone and they have to talk to you. And they have to talk to you for as long as you want to talk to them. And what's fascinating about that is good luck doing that with SEO. Google has absolutely zero incentive to have someone pick up the phone and talk to you about manipulating search results, getting you higher in their rankings. It just goes to show where their money's at. Their money is in advertising, and so they're going to promote that. In Upside Down World, perhaps you could call and get an SEO representative who would walk you through how to create stellar content regularly, but that is simply not the case in reality. And so we are on minute 59. Can you believe it, chat? We did it. We did it, team. We did it, people. We have concluded another hour of streaming. The goal is every day, 1 hour. So much learning, so much internet marketing, so much fun coming at you from the void, from the black void here in space. Not sure if you can hear that. That is my son. I am at home. The children are here. It's a pandemic, people. And on the personal note, our AC is being fixed. Our garage door went out, and that got fixed. So thank you to all of the thoughts and prayers everyone sent about the garage door and the AC unit. It was warm, but we're good. Don't worry about it. Final thing I will say is that I have a good friend. Her name is Adriana. She lives in Cucuta, Colombia, and she has quite a bit of family in Venezuela. And you can probably imagine that the situation there is dire. It is not good. And so one of the things I'm going to mention now and in the future in this particular show is we are looking to raise money for their family specifically. So this is not a fund that will go to help folks that are out of network, if that makes sense. You're not giving money and hoping it gets to the right place. You are giving money directly to a Venezuelan family that I know personally is struggling. And so if that is something that you are interested in doing, leave a comment in the comment section and I will reach out to you personally about that particular program. Well, it's been a lot of fun. I will see you next time. Have a